welcome to Beyond the Scale, the show where everyday heroes tell their stories on how they turn their lives around for the healthier. I'm Coach Brittany, and today's guest is Bedros Keuilian. He'll be talking about living your life to the fullest by not hitting the snooze button and finishing what you set out to do. Hope you enjoy. Welcome, Bedros.
Hello, Brittany.
I'm so excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You not only inspire and help so many people, I really just want to get some advice from you to help our listeners, as well as hear about how you became the person that you are today.
Sure. That'd be fantastic. Where do we begin?
So first off, I want to hear a little bit about your background in the fitness industry.
Yeah, well, so obviously right now I'm the founder and CEO of Fit Body Bootcamp, which is what we're doing here at Beyond the Scale. But well before this, really my trajectory into the fitness industry was simply because I was a fat and overweight kid with low self-esteem, low confidence. And you add to that, having come from a foreign country, my family and I immigrated from communist Russia, Armenia at the time, in 1980. I was 6 years old. So growing up here in the United States, I didn't speak English. I didn't understand the culture. We were poor, we were broke, and really we had to find dumpsters in the back of grocery stores, and that's really where we got most of our food from. And my mom and dad had, trivial jobs, paper delivery route and working at a gas station, but that money was mainly used to pay for rent and for utilities. So really our food was either government food or food that was pulled out of a dumpster that was expired, but not necessarily bad. So it's not like we were eating healthy. So by the time I became 16, 17 years old, I was 35 pounds overweight in high school. And I realized very quickly that if I want to go to prom, I need to work on my weight. I need to work on my confidence. And I had my eye on this girl. Her name was Nakaya. And all I wanted to do was ask Nakaya out to the prom, and she would say yes. And then we would go to the prom together and have a great time. So the summer before senior year, I made it my goal to buy every muscle magazine that I can get my hands on and read it and learn about exercise and eating right. And I spent that entire summer before senior year working out and eating as healthy as I could. And I put healthy in quotes because compared to what I was eating pretzels and tuna fish was actually healthy compared to eating, hot dogs and hamburgers and fried food and Twinkies, et cetera. I mean, this is really what I grew up on. And so for me, when I lost that 30 pounds of fat, while I never had the confidence to ask Nakaya out to the prom, and so I never went to the prom, my trajectory in life changed. I realized immediately that when I leave high school, and whether I go to college or not, I'm gonna become a personal trainer and help people lose weight, get fit, get more confident, self-esteem. I mean, it was more than just a physical transformation for me. It was a mental, spiritual, emotional transformation, an awakening. And it's funny because today, you fast forward, 20 some odd years later, I'm 43 years old now. And as the founder and CEO of Fit Body Bootcamp, people ask me, so does Fit Body Bootcamp deliver fat loss results? My answer is yes, and then some. And the reason for that is fat loss is just the tip of the iceberg in what we do, right? Sure, people want to lose the weight and get in shape and get into their clothes that are, going to fit them better. That's fantastic. But as a byproduct of all that, what really happens is they get more confident, higher self-esteem. People have told us that they got a raise at work. Their relationships have improved with their kids, their spouses. Stress level goes away, stress and anxiety. They sleep better, energy. And so for me, I just look at myself now as the ultimate personal trainer. And through our hundreds of Fit Body Bootcamp locations worldwide, I get to deliver through all those locations the same results that I once got when I was lacking confidence and self-esteem and was overweight and frustrated. So it's a really cool, 360-degree turnaround for me. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Now, through your fitness journey, when was it that you finally noticed that you were starting to see a change, your mindset was changing? When did that point come?
Good question. So, I guess when you're a young man and you're 16 and a half, 17 years old, within 3 months of that summer months, I lost the 30 pounds. So it wasn't so much that I saw a mindset shift in those 3 months. The mindset shift happened later on in my senior year of high school when people would approach me all of a sudden. I still saw myself as that kid who was 30 pounds overweight, but people would approach me and go, man, you lost weight, you look amazing, you look great. I remember you were heavier. And I actually wouldn't be nervous to talk to them. And I remember after holding conversation with them and looking them in the eye and walking away, I would surprise myself, like, where did this level of confidence come from? So for me, I guess you can say it wasn't while I was losing the weight. After I lost the weight and senior year started, the way I was communicating and interacting with my peers was way different than how I was interacting with them the previous 3 years, which was I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to blend in. I wasn't part of the jocks. I wasn't part of the smart kids. I hated the lunch breaks at school because I would just wander around at the quad, wondering, when is it going to be over so I can go hide out in class again. So that confidence change, self-esteem change really hit for me throughout senior year. So I guess about 5-6 months after the weight loss. And I realized, like, holy cow, this is something magical. Yeah.
And now, is that when you realized you wanted to pursue your passion and start working in the fitness industry?
Yeah, because in that time while I was reading those muscle magazines to help myself, in the back of the magazines, there was these little fractional ads that said, become a personal trainer, help people lose weight and get fit, earn $100 an hour. I just figured, maybe personal trainers make $100 an hour. And I said, gosh, I've lost this weight. I would love to help people lose weight and make money at the same time. Like we all have to make money. We all need a job. What if my job is personal training? And so it was a rough start, to be honest with you. Once I became a personal trainer, I also worked at Disneyland. I also worked at a restaurant. Actually, I worked at a bar as a bouncer. And because I didn't know how to get clients. I thought just because I'm in shape, people would go, hey, you're in great shape. Can I work with you to get in shape? That's not how it works. You really have to know how to communicate and send a message across and influence, persuade. And you have to be non-intimidating. And when you look at our Fit Body Bootcamp locations, they're unlike anything else. Like, they're not like the big box gyms that you see out there with, guys grunting and throwing weights around and mirrors and intimidating people. You walk into a Fit Body Bootcamp, it's open, clean, inviting, and it's an environment where people really have this awesome energy and one outcome, which is to let's work out together, get the best workout possible, and see results. And so once I figured that piece out, I became a better personal trainer. And of course, I was a one-on-one personal trainer back then. And I realized, gosh, one-on-one personal training is so expensive. There's so many people who want to work out with me, but they can't afford $600 to $900 a month for one-on-one personal training. So then I started racking my brain, what would be a better alternative? And that's where the group training boot camp model came about. But even that wasn't working so well because boot camps were happening outdoors in parks. And I realized, well, it's weather dependent, or their sprinklers go on, or the sun hasn't come up yet, or it's cold outside, or it's too hot. And so while the boot camp model made sense because personal trainers could offer our services for a lower cost and make it more affordable and convenient, outdoors wasn't the answer. We had to bring it indoors, and we had to make it a business model that could happen all across the country, and in fact, all around the world. And that's the idea of Fit Body Bootcamp, is the outdoor fitness boot camp in a fun, high energy environment that's safe, clean, inspiring, but indoors, so that you can do it anywhere, no matter the temperature, the heat, the sun is up or the sun is down. We have lights, we turn them on, we can control the air conditioning, and we know that the outcome is going to be spectacular. Absolutely.
Now, what would you say is the defining factor at Fit Body Bootcamp, why people see results rather than going to other fitness franchises?
Simple. It's very simple. We believe in coaching the whole, right? Not just coaching for weight loss. And so I always tell our Fit Body Bootcamp location owners, I said, look, you're going to sell fat loss and weight loss, but you're going to give habit change, lifestyle change, mindset change. And that's really what we do. We focus on the whole system and not just on weight loss. And so if we can help people change their mindset, change their belief system, their habits, their self-esteem, confidence, they not only take the weight off, but they keep it off for good. And so we deliver coaching and not just personal training.
Absolutely, and it's also a domino effect into their personal lives, aside from just being their fitness journey. So you also talk about people overestimating what they can do in 1 year and underestimating what they can do in 5 years. How does that apply to fitness?
Oh, big. Because when I was a personal trainer, I'd get a client in front of me, or a prospective client. I'd say, what is your goal, right? And they'll typically say, well, I want to lose 40 to 60 pounds, typically is what I would hear from a prospective client. And I would do the math and I'd say, okay, that's going to take us about a year or so to lose that weight. Oh, and you could just see that they go, oh man, it's going to take that long. I said, hey, what happened? why do you feel discouraged right now? I said, well, I was hoping it could happen in a couple months. Look, we can starve 40 or 60 pounds off of you in 30 days. But the moment you walk away, you're going to gain the weight back because you've lost water, fat, muscle, bone density. What I want to do is teach you a lifestyle. Give us 12 months. And so I would always ask them, how long have you been out of shape? How long have you been unhappy with your body? How long have you been dissatisfied with your physique? I said, oh, gee, 5, 10, 15 years, you know? So I remember a couple clients telling me, gee, I've been married for 12 years, so about 10 years, right? I said, well, if you've been out of shape for 10 years, if you are willing to give us just a tenth of that, 1 year, we'll give you a transformation where it's all fat loss. We'll teach you how to be your own personal trainer, build muscle, manipulate your nutrition, develop habits that lead you to success once you leave here so that you can, keep the weight off. And then they get it. So yes, most people will underestimate what they can achieve, or they overestimate, I guess, what they can achieve, in this case, in a couple months, and they underestimate what they can achieve in a year, right? Mm-hmm. So, for anyone watching or listening to this, go into it with the mindset of, I'm gonna go for 12 months. I've been unhappy with my body for years. I'm gonna give it 1 year of training the way they say I should train, eating the way they say I should eat, and having a mindset that Fit Body Bootcamp coaches teach me. And after that year, you'll see that you'll never gain the weight back again because you'll have a completely different belief system instead of just starving the weight off of you and then yo-yo, we've all heard about the yo-yo diet, right? Yo-yoing right back to that weight and then some.
Do you have any advice for our listeners that may be struggling to stay on their fitness journey?
I do. So advice that I would give to any of our listeners who are struggling to stay on their fitness journey is to surround yourself with people who are going to be supporters. In reality, and I hate to kind of bring this part of humanity up, but most of us have friends around us that don't necessarily want to be supportive. And it's not because they want to see you fail. Right. It's because they don't want to see you change. Because if you change, you may end up holding a mirror in front of them and they now see that, gosh, I should change and I'm not. I have room to change, but I refuse to. I'm not acknowledging the changes that I shouldn't be making. And so people, they don't want bad for you. They simply don't want to see you change because they're afraid that I might lose you as a friend, or if you change and I don't, then now I'm going to feel weird about myself. So the best thing people can do is edit out the relationships who are not supportive, meaning either cut those people out of your life. I know it sounds a little extreme, but sometimes I do get a little extreme that way. Or at least mute those people temporarily out of your life and surround yourself with new friends from your Fit Body Bootcamp workouts who are on the same journey as you. They want to see you change because they're in the process of changing. See, when we're all changing for the better, we're gonna encourage each other. Right. But if you're changing for the better and I'm standing still, I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna lose you as a friend. And so I'm gonna subconsciously always want to hold you back. Come on, just drink some wine with me. It's a little bit of wine. It's not going to ruin your diet. Well, that wine leads to a lower willpower because when we're a little drunk, a little buzzed, a little tipsy, maybe I'll just have another slice of cheese and bread. And before you know it, the slippery slope begins and we go, I just ruined my diet. Right. There goes the whole weekend. Now, well, there goes the whole weekend. I'm not going to go to the gym on Monday. I'm not going to go to Fit Body Bootcamp. What's the point, right? What if you had a friend who said, hey, instead of eating, let's go out shopping. Let's spend some money and actually buy clothes that's gonna fit us better, right? Instead of eating. And when it's time to eat, let's go eat something healthy together because we're both on the same journey. So who you surround yourself with is just as important as the thoughts that are occupying your mind, which is why I say we always focus on their mindset and their physiology.
Absolutely. Now, I think that's something that a lot of our listeners may struggle with is knowing where to find that support group. So that's why I love Fit Body Bootcamp and being able to go there, find that support system and have, like-minded people on the same journey as you. So you yourself, you went from personal trainer, being the founder of the Fit Body Bootcamp franchise. Do you still struggle on your fitness journey?
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, I'll be fully transparent here. Listen, growing a fitness franchise and, wearing the many hats that I have to wear, I do at times realize that, I'm looking to eat. But now I do a self-check. Am I interested in eating because I'm hungry, or am I interested in eating because I'm trying to go back to my old default of emotional eating or eating for comfort or eating to numb myself? And that's what I used to do as a young man. And so these days, I don't gain the 30, 40 pounds. There's maybe a 5 to 8 pound sway in my weight. Like if I'm 5 to 8 pounds heavier, I'm probably going through a stressful phase in our business, right? Which all people go through stressful phases and times. And the truth of the matter is, we're going to go through some life struggles and challenges, and people are going to get sick and die in our lives. And when they do, the question is, do you go back to default and gain all that weight back? Or do you have boundaries now where, for me, there's a certain number that if the scale hits that number, I have to dial it back in again. And so it's almost like creating these processes where it keeps you from ever going all the way back to where you were. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So sure, I struggle. I'm human. But I've learned to, if I have a cheat meal today and my cheat meal was planned for Sunday, then I will then adjust Sunday's cheat meal to make up for today. So I have almost the checks and balances in place. Whereas before, I might have a cheat meal today and go, oh, to heck with it. The rest of the day is shot. I'm gonna have cheat meals all day long, right? Today it's one bad meal doesn't break me. That's my new mentality. It used to be, I ate a bad meal, I'm a loser, I'm gonna eat bad the rest of the week.
Go downhill from there, yeah. Cool, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Of course.
So I also hear you talking about the importance of not hitting snooze in the morning.
Yeah.
Can you explain to us why that's so important and how it's impacted your life?
Yeah. So obviously as an entrepreneur, and by the way, I was not entrepreneurship is not factory installed for me. I don't come from a long line of entrepreneurs. I'm no Donald Trump. I'm a kid who's a foreigner who had all this fat to lose, lost the weight, and wanted to help millions of people. I realized my purpose on this planet is to help millions of people lose the weight, and in the process of losing that fat, regaining their confidence, their self-esteem, their energy, their strength, and their voice back. That's what happened to me, and that's what I want to serve the world with before I leave this planet. I realize every day that when I set my alarm on my phone, if I hit that snooze button, I'm really telling the universe that I choose 10 more minutes of mediocre sleep over getting up and living my purpose on this planet. Now, I don't know what anyone else's purpose is, but I believe every single person on this planet has a purpose. If you haven't found your purpose yet, it's up to you to find it or develop your purpose or your passion. I believe we're all like German Shepherds. I've got a dog who's part German Shepherd, part Mastiff. You've met Cookie.
Yes.
And Cookie needs a routine. Cookie needs a purpose. She needs to get out and chase the ball 10 times before she comes into the house and sits with me on the couch while I work. If she doesn't go out and do her purpose, she keeps nudging me with her snout until I go out there and throw the ball with her 10 times. And so I think, gosh, dogs need a purpose. And if, by the way, statistics show that if a German Shepherd is not shepherding, if it's not living a purpose, dogs get depressed. Guess what happens with humans?
We get depressed.
We get depressed, exactly. So I found my purpose early on in life, and it is to serve people through fitness. And so every time I hit snooze, I'm really choosing mediocrity over living my purpose. And so my challenge to everybody is take your phone and turn off the snooze feature. You can do that. And by doing that, you're now choosing to live a purpose or to get fit or to eat better or to spend 10 more minutes with your family, your kids, your spouse, instead of mediocrity or 10 more minutes of interrupted sleep.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I think that was a great tip that all of our listeners can start doing now to really make an impact in their life. So speaking of healthy routines, do you have any tips that we can give our listeners on how to develop those healthy routines?
Yes, yeah. Going back to German Shepherds. Going back to German Shepherds, and also going back to one of the guests that you had on Beyond the Scale, Craig Ballantyne,
yes,
with the perfect day formula. He's a dear friend of mine, and I've learned both through my dog and through Craig Ballantyne the one lesson of routine. And when you have a routine, see, we all have routines. It's just, are your routines full of bad habits or good habits? Are your routines that create an outcome of success and happiness and health? Or are your routines things that give you negativity, anxiety, and stress in your life? We all have routines.
Right.
And so Craig was kind enough, as he was writing his book, The Perfect Day Formula, to share his morning routine with me. And I think the best thing that any of our listeners can do right now is to develop a healthy morning routine, because when you win your mornings, you win your days. When you win your days, you win your week. What I didn't have before was a healthy routine. I would wake up whenever after hitting snooze a few times. Now I was rushed, so instead of having a healthy breakfast, I would skip breakfast. Well, you think skipping breakfast isn't so bad, other than the fact that when you skip breakfast, you're killing your metabolism, your body's ability to burn more fat at rest. So now you have a low metabolism all day long until lunchtime. So lunch comes along, you have such low blood sugar, you're fiending for sugary, carbs, fatty foods. You overconsume, your body doesn't know what to do with all those calories. it stores them as fat. But because your metabolism is now used to being low, you're not burning the fat off as fast as you should. You see how one bad decision in the morning of hitting that snooze button because it's part of a bad routine leads to almost a domino effect.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So what if we didn't hit the snooze button? We had a morning routine. In my case, I wake up at between 4:30 and 5 a.m. because I go to sleep at 10 p.m. And I wake up and I have a big glass of water because I want to fill my stomach up with something that has 0 calories, water. And then I'll have a protein shake with a little scoop of oatmeal mixed right in there, very quick, chug-a-lug, there I go out with cookie, throw the ball 10 times, come back in and work for a couple hours on my computer, and then I'll go and get my workout in. By that time, it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. I come here to the Fit Body Bootcamp headquarters where I can serve you guys, our team, and I pack my food with me. Because if I don't pack my food with me, then what happens is I can easily tell Joan or Jamie, can you run out to Subway or McDonald's and get me some fast food, right? I just need something. Well, why put myself at risk for eating bad food when I could just wake up in the morning and pack my food with me? So it's all the little details that build good habits, and those good habits over many days and weeks and months lead to an amazing lifestyle.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's so powerful. I myself have started incorporating that in my life, and I'm already starting to see differences. So you guys can too. Okay, so I've heard you say that the one thing that saved you from never failing is to always finish what you started. Yeah. Is there a way that our listeners can incorporate that principle into their fitness journeys?
Yeah. So I was the king of, by the way, not finishing what I started, just so you know. So everything I teach, I used to do the opposite, right? And so one could argue that, everything that I teach is a byproduct of how I was. I had to change myself first before I could, help people change themselves. If you get into the mindset of always finishing what you started, and I said this to my son, I said, hey, you want to play soccer, let's put you into soccer. But if you decide a few games in that you don't like soccer, I need you to go through the whole season. Do we have a deal? And he said, yeah. That not only that, I'm not trying to put him in soccer for a whole season to see if he likes it or not. I kind of hope that he doesn't like it, but he still sticks to it because there's so many lessons we learn about delayed gratification, right? Of, all right, gosh, I realize I don't like soccer, but I've got 3 months of season left. I'm going to show up. I'm going to deliver the best attitude I can. I'm going to be the best team player that I can be. What lessons did I learn here? Maybe I didn't like soccer, but there's a lot of lessons I learned about delayed gratification, about being prompt, about being a team player, about having a great attitude. And those things bleed into every other part of his life. And so when our clients want to use that mindset, if you are waking up with the intention of, I'm going to eat 4 healthy meals today, finish what you started. Just pack those meals, plan it the night before, wake up early and pack those meals, but don't set yourself up for failure, set yourself up for success. If you decided that I'm going to work out at 5:30 in the evening, go to the 5:30 or 6 o'clock Fit Body Bootcamp session, finish what you started, go there. If you're going to do a 30-minute workout, don't dog it for 20 minutes. Give the 30 minutes of intense workout. You can do anything for 30 minutes. We all can. And the reality is that if you just go in there with the mindset of, I'm going to finish what I set out to do this morning, and then at the end of the day, you go check. I ate well. In my case, I go through a little gratitude ritual every morning of 3 people I'm grateful for and 3 things I'm grateful for, and I'll text those 3 people and I'll let them know how grateful I am. I went through my gratitude list, I packed my meals, I got my workout in, and I did the 4 or 5 things at work that I'm supposed to do. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm a winner, and that sets me up for another win tomorrow. But if you set out to do something and you don't finish what you started, you're more likely to fail the next day. And that's the biggest lesson I want to really impart here with our listeners.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Now, what does living beyond the scale mean to you?
So to me, living beyond the scale it's funny, right? Because everyone wants to come to Fit Body Bootcamp and, hey, I have X number of weights or pounds to lose. And that is living for the scale, right? I have X number of pounds to lose. And no one ever comes and tells us, I want more energy, I want better sleep. And oh, by the way, I have a few pounds to lose. It's always living beyond the scale is the whole. Am I happy with my body? How many people do we see who have lost the weight, but are unhappy with their body because they have body dysmorphia, or they have this unrealistic image of what their body should be, or they have this image of what society has set for what their body should be? At the end of the day, are you happy with your body? So living beyond the scales, am I happy with my body? Am I surrounding myself with people who are positive and uplifting and motivating? Am I living to my fullest potential? And oh, by the way, do I have a healthy routine? And that's living beyond the scale, because at the end of the day, You can have someone, a woman who's got, a substantial amount of muscle on her body. On the scale, she might be overweight, according to the doctor charts. Health-wise, athletic-wise, performance-wise, longevity-wise, she's a machine. I want that. That's living beyond the scale, not going by some numbers that holds you hostage and, gosh, if I'm bloated a little bit today, now I'm stressing out. So beyond the scale is really the whole system: mind, body, heart, spirit, soul.
I think that was beautifully said. And, that's what we all need to do, just rise to the best version of ourselves and make this world a better place at the end of the day.
Amen.
So thank you so much for all of the tips and advice that you've shared with us. Where can our listeners go if they want to participate in a Fit Body Bootcamp workout?
Yeah, so if you want to participate in a Fit Body Bootcamp workout, you can do 3 free workouts at your local Fit Body Bootcamp by going to fitbodybootcamp.com and just put in your zip code, and all the Fit Body Bootcamps nearest you will show up. And you can do the 3 free workouts, or you can do one with one of our web specials where you can work out longer at a Fit Body Bootcamp. I think we currently have a 21-day or a 28-day program where you can work out for a longer period of time for a deep discount. At the end of the day, it's about making that first step towards the journey, whether it's getting 3 workouts in for free or a discounted 21-day workout, but make the first step. And when you make the first step, the second step comes easier.
Absolutely. So I empower all of you listeners to go out and find a fitness facility that works for you. So thank you again for being on the show, Bedros. It was such a pleasure having you, and hope we can have you on again soon.
Thank you, Brittany.
Woo!
Yes.
Did you know that you could have done a full workout in the amount of time it took you to listen to this podcast? Go to fitbodybootcamp.com to claim your 3 free sessions now. And remember to join me next Tuesday so you can see who our special guest is. Until then, remember to live a fit body, fit mind forever.